Hello guys, welcome back. 3 days ago it was Bobby Fischer's birthday, and I ordered a book, my 60 memorable games from Bobby Fischer. I will study this book and I will show you 60 of his favorite games. We're going to analyze them. So I have a special announcement. I'm going to make a series where Bobby Fischer will be the main character of my series. So if you got some friends or family members who really like Bobby Fischer, welcome. You're welcome to watch my new series, which will be out soon when the book arrives and when I will study the games. But now let's take a look at one of my favorite Fischer's games, which is it's game 6. It's always game 6 of the tournament. Maybe you guys watched it, but today I'm going to analyze it, and if you're ready, but now it's the time. If you enjoy in my chess content, you're welcome to hit that button, and let's get the game going. We are in 1972 in Reykjavik in Iceland. It's game 6 World Championship between Robert James Fischer and Boris Vasilyevich Spassky. So Bobby was E4 player, but in game 6 he chose something to surprise Spassky. He played C4. And here we have Spassky responded with E6, and we have knight to F3 and D5. D4, this is the Queen's Gambit declined, is on the board, and we have knight to F6, knight to C3, developing the knights before the bishop, and bishop to E7, standard stuff, bishop to G5, and we have castles by Spassky. Bobby played E3 and H6, immediately challenging the bishop. Bishop goes back to H4 and B6. This is now the Tartakower defense, which in tournaments, this was Boris Spassky's favorite choice in tournaments, and this was the line in which Spassky haven't lost. So let's see what happened. We have Bobby trade in the center, c takes d5, and knight takes d5, and bishop takes e7. Here I can show you a line. If you take the knight, here this line is represented in the book. If you take the knight, e takes on d5, and bishop goes back to g3, bishop to g4, pinning the knight, and a3, preventing some checks with the bishop, c5, challenging the d4 pawn, striking the center, and d takes c5, b takes c5, and we have unpinning the knight, developing the bishop to e2, and bishop goes to f6, rook to c1, and developing the knight, defending the d5 pawn, queen goes to d2, developing the queen, and nicely securing, defending the b2 pawn, and queen to b6, putting some more pressure on the b2 pawn, but now b4. And this would be, this line is represented in the book, and this would be about equal. But I found it very interesting, but that didn't happen. We have bishop takes e7, and the queen takes on e7. Nicely, this long diagonal will be open for this bishop, and now we have Bobby takes the knight, and pawn takes. So it would take Spassky a couple of more moves to open this bishop, but the plan is straightforward. You put the bishop on b7, play c5, maybe rook c8, and try to train the center, and then push those pawns. And yeah, and here Bobby played the most played move, rook to c1, but here I can show you another line which is represented in the book by Karpov, which Karpov thinks white is slightly better. Let's say, for example, bishop to d3, c5, striking the center, and castles by white. Bishop goes to e6, defending and securing the e6 pawn, and e4, striking the center. Knight to d7, developing the knight, putting some more defensive resource to the c5 pawn, and now rook to e1, eyeing that queen on e7 square. So queen needs to move to f6 square, and we have a trade in the center. D takes on c5, knight takes on c5, and Zwischenzug. It's all about the Zwischenzug. e5, and queen goes to f4. Bishop is hanging. You don't want to leave your bishop on the d3 square. So bishop goes back to c2 and bishop to g4. And now the beautiful move. Your knight is pinned. You need to trade the queens. Queen to d4. And this position is described by Karpov as slightly better for white, but if you're white here, I think it looks the same. You're not, if you're playing in a world championship, you need to win, you need to play aggressive like Fischer did. So let's see what was his plan. If we go back, Fischer played rook to c1, and we have a very nice move by Spassky. Bishop to e6. And now this is Fischer played queen to a4, a very nice idea. And another line which is represented in the book. This is the Nigel Short recommendation. Here we would see something like sorry, wrong pawn, a5, and now the idea behind a5 move is to secure the b4 square, and you can trade queens with check. But now knight to e5, we have rook c8 and a3, preventing the queen coming to b4 square, and we have c5, bishop to b5, the most challenging move, and queen goes to g5, g3, preventing the pawn on g2 to be being captured, and we have c4 and castles. So if you look at this position closely, the queen is awkwardly placed, but so is that bishop. The engine gives slight. The engine thinks that white is slightly better, but white has got every piece developed. But yeah, I wouldn't go for this. I would choose a different line. So if we go back in this position, here Spassky continued with c5. And now we have a very nice move by Fischer, queen to a3, pinning the pawn. So the pawn, you can't take the pawn because if you see your queen is hanging. So I hope you wouldn't play that as black. Here we have Spassky continued with the best move, rook to c8. And now we have the most challenging move by Fischer, bishop to b5. The most annoying move to face, and here Spassky played a6, which is slight inaccuracy. Here I'm going to, here in this position, Spassky was already had this position on the board, and Geller was playing in I think in 1970s. I don't know that for sure, but Geller was playing this position against Jan Timman, and here Geller played queen to b7, and this move equalizes quickly, because the point is now if Fischer took on c5, b takes on c5, rook takes the pawn, rook takes, queen takes, and now this is the move you need to develop a piece, challenge the queen, knight a6. We would see something like bishop takes, queen takes, and queen goes back to a3. This move is very nice because it prevents white from castling, and now queen to c4, trying to harass the the white king. The threat is queen to c1, check, and we have king goes to d2, defending, and as we can see, white has got a lot of problems. g2 is hanging, so rook g1 needs to be played, and now the best move, you need to open the king side. So what do you play here? You bust open the king, the white king, you play d4. And now we would see something like knight takes the pawn, and the beautiful move, queen goes to h4, eyeing those two pawns, and here this pawn will fall, or this pawn will fall. We would see something like rook e1, queen takes the pawn, rook e2, and now queen f1. And at the end of the line, this line was represented by Geller. Black is better in this position. So if you study this line, queen to b7 was the way to go. But I think Spassky, I'm not sure, but maybe Spassky forget about this queen b7 idea. He played a6, which is a slight inaccuracy, and here we have d takes on c5, and now the pawn cannot take the bishop because it's pinned. I hope you saw that. You get the rook for free and you're winning. So if we go back, b takes on c5. Here Spassky has two pawns, two hanging pawns, and now we have castles by Bobby, and rook goes to a7, defending the rook. So now the threat is to take the bishop, and bishop moves back to e2, and developing the last piece, Spassky played knight d7, and now a very beautiful move by Fischer. He played knight d4. A very nice move, eyeing that bishop, which holds black's position together, which defends this pawn, and the knight cannot be accepted because the rook nicely eyes the c8 rook. So Spassky defended with queen to f8, defending the rook. So the threat now is to take the d4 knight, and we have knight takes this beautiful bishop, f takes on e6. And now this is the critical position which is described in the book. This is the key move to get the initiative with the white pieces. You need to find the best continuation. What do you play here and why? You can comment in the comments down below. if you found this move, you are an exceptional player. You need to play e4. The point behind this move is to loosen those pawns, because whatever black plays, those pawns will get weaker, and with this move Fischer created weaknesses in black's camp. It's not a good idea to take the pawn, because you would get 3 pawns, which will be hard to defend. And here Spassky played d4, and this creates weaknesses on the light squares. This light square bishop is better than the knight, and now Bobby played f4, taking the e5 square away from the knight. And here we have queen to e7, nicely defending the e6 pawn, and e5, taking away the squares from black's knight. f6 square is covered, e5 square is covered, and we have rook to b8, bishop to c4, putting some pressure on this long diagonal towards the black king. King sidestep, and queen to h3, a very nice move by Fischer, trying to get that e6 pawn with the queen and the bishop, and get 2 connected passed pawns. So Spassky defended knight to f8, and b3 defending the b2 pawn, and a5 trying to get a4 in, but we have f5 by Fischer. E takes on f5, and rook takes on f5. And now in this position, when f5 was played, it was Fischer. Fischer gets the initiative, and he knows he has a better position and that he's going to convert this game into a victory. So here we have knight h7 and rook from c to f1, doubling the rooks along the f file, and we have queen goes back to d8, defending the back rank. Queen to g3, very nice move, putting some pressure on g7 pawn, and rook e7, stopping the pawn from promotion and also guarding the g7 square, and h4, taking away g5 square from black's knight, and now rook from b to b7, putting some more defensive resource to the g7 square, and e6, rook from b to c7. Here Spassky is running away, is out of moves, and he's just shuffling rooks, and queen goes to e5, getting closer to that black king, pinning the pawn, and queen to e8. Spassky doesn't have moves, so he's just trying something. a4, taking away last idea from Spassky. Spassky wanted to play a5 himself, but and now queen to d8, rook from 1 to f2, queen e8, rook from 2 to f3, queen d8. Spassky is trying to see what Fischer will do, and bishop goes back to d3. Now Fischer will maneuver the bishop and the queen. Queen to e8 and queen to e4, nicely eyeing that h7 square, and knight to f6, defending the h7 square. And now this is the critical position. One last time. What do you play here with the white pieces? If you found beautiful rook sacrifice, you're playing like Bobby Fischer. Now g takes on f6, and here we have rook takes on f6. And in this position, it was all over. Here, king to g8 was played, and bishop c4, king to h8, and queen to f4. And in this position, Boris Spassky resigned the game because he knows he's going to get checkmated. Checkmate is coming. The rook and the queen are nicely eyeing that h6 square. And secondly, you're going to lose the queen. Rook to f8 is coming. So here in this position, whatever you play, you're getting destroyed. White has a passed pawn. If we go back in this position, I'm going to show you the best defensive resource black had, which I found very interesting. King g7, queen e5, eyeing that king. So king steps away, king g8, and bishop to b5. Secure and sorry, that's not b5 square. Bishop to b5, attacking black's king, queen, and queen to d8. And now bishop back to c4, d3, trying to promote the pawn. Bishop to d5, cutting the line for the black queen, and we have d2. And now amazing move, which you just let your opponent to promote the pawn, and you take the pawn on h6. Amazing stuff. Black gets another queen. This is really fascinating that white's position is so much better that you can allow the black player to get a queen in the game. And now the point behind this move is that mate is being threatened on h8 square, so we need to defend mate. Rook h7 needs to be played, but now e7 check. Forget about our good old friend, the light square bishop, and queen takes bishop. Now black king is getting mated. Rook g6, king goes to f7. You promote to a queen. Now you need to take the queen, but this is a nice checkmate. So yeah, this was the end. I hope you enjoyed in my first Bobby Fischer's game. When the book arrives, I will make a series. We're going to look and analyze all 60 Fischer's games, and I hope you will enjoy in the series. If you got friends and someone who really likes Bobby Fischer, share this video, and we'll see you soon. Enjoy, guys, and goodbye.